When we create things from the universal laws instead of circumstances and conditions, we create lasting results, ongoing success. Okay, so last week we are on chapter 2 of the book. The first chapter was point, where are you now and where are you going? Because I use the art metaphors, right? So where are you now, where are you going? And then chapter 2 is line, how do you get from where you are now to where you want to go? And we are actually on week 4 of that. And so today we're going to talk about my favorite law. Well, I love them all, but this one's really powerful. So it's called the law of vibration. Last week we talked about the law of attraction. Now, so many people learned about the law of attraction through The Secret, and it was really a great thing because it really helped people begin to see that their thoughts create their experience. And so one of the things that was really encouraged to do in there was to create your vision board, right? Well, one of the things that happened when people started creating their vision boards, a lot of people started, manifesting things, creating things, making things happen. But the other thing that happened is it didn't happen. They put it on their wall and they just expected it to happen. Now, we will be going through the law of gestation. It does take time for these things to grow later in the year as we progress through the 12 chapters of Beyond the Box. But the other thing is that is the law of attraction. And it's a secondary law. But the reason that they started with that secondary law was it's so accessible, right? What you think of is what you experience. The law of vibration goes deeper. What you feel, what you vibrate, what frequency, if you will, you vibrate with, the more you will manifest or create the things that you want. So last week we also talked about a great tool called what I call my frequency thermostat. It comes from a For Success toolbox that I created of concrete tools to help people really change their thinking and really understand these principles and so forth. So what that does is it helps you increase what I'm calling your frequency. It's a way to change your thinking, right? And I was on a conversation with my friend this morning. We were talking about how it's not always just making everything happy, good, and positive, right? Part of it is being willing to let things come to the surface, and then what are you going to do with those things that come to the surface? So it's not always happy, 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 right? But it always brings us too happy if we take those things and allow it to fertilize the soil of our growth. So anyway, so that's the background. And so today we're talking about the law of vibration. Let me read a statement from my mentor, Mary Morrissey, and a quote that's in my book under law of vibration. Match the frequency of what you want to create. So this isn't just the image, having it up on your board and things will attract. It's you must match the frequency, the idea. She says, every single one of us is a broadcast station. We're broadcasting a vibration of the major thoughts we're holding. Those thoughts tend to show up on the way we hold our faces, the way our shoulders are tensed or relaxed. It shows up on how much we walk with a lift in our step or the heaviness as a drudge. Now, what she's saying is those are indicators of what the true vibration of your life is. And so that's one of the reasons that positive thinking has been so successful. It's not because we need to think positively all the time, but it helps us get out of and pay attention and notice the thoughts, the erroneous thoughts that keep us from creating, manifesting the things that we want. Let's take, for example, the idea of okay, so I'm a coach. I work on creating my tribe of people that can really learn from and be served by my work, right? And so sometimes the thoughts go through my head of like, I don't want to have to find people. I don't want to have to coerce people. And those thoughts actually produce that result. And so the job is, and we use the thermostat to do this, is so we don't say, oh, what's a high thought that I can have, a high frequency thought. We say, what frequency am I willing to come from in this work? And I come to, and how I raise that vibration, I live my amazing life in a way that attracts the people that are ready to experience and have the amazing life that I have. I don't have to do any coercing, any searching, anything, but I forget that. We all do. So I'm letting you know we're all kind of human in this, right? So our practice is to catch ourselves in the low vibration thinking. That's why the image of the thermostat works so nice. It's good to have an image, right? And to go, oh, look I'm down on myself again. I'm down on myself again. Or I say I hate marketing. Or I don't have enough clients, which is, I obviously have the clients that are proportional to my belief system. It's not I'm a victim and I'm outside of the experience. It is, and I'll tell you, I had a real realization today, is that having more clients takes away from my playtime, and I love playtime. So there I get to go and say, okay, if I love playtime, what is the proportion of clients, which I love. I just had an amazing session with one of my clients. I love that time. I love watching the transformation. I love being a part of them having their own inner discovery, right? And I also love playing. So how do I bring balance, which we will be talking about later in the book, because that's another art principle that I've applied life principle to so that you can understand it better. How do I create greater balance in my life of having my play life and having my coaching life? I'm not going to call it work, because when I'm in it, it is as joyful as my play life, right? But I saw that I was taking up too much time in worrying about and stressing and pushing to have more clients, when really my inner mind was saying, you love your life the way it is right now. So that is the key to the law of vibration. You cannot get to your dream, you must come from your dream. That's a quote by Mary Morrissey also. You cannot get to your dream. You don't get to it by pushing and working, making it. You must become your dream. You must be the vibrational frequency of that you want your life to look like. A lot of people say, why do we have to vision if we're supposed to be in the moment? Well, if you don't vision for what you want, anything can become your reality, and it will be based on all the thoughts. And 90% of our thoughts are recycled. We've had them before. We learned them from somebody else. They're not truly ours. What would you truly love? And now what can you do to keep your vibrational frequency at that place of, this is the life I love, and this is the life I am moving towards. This is Christi with Christi's Clarity. I look forward to seeing you next week, when we will be moving on to Chapter 3. Chapter 3 is about how do you connect the line now to create the container of support to pour your dream into. So I look forward to 4 weeks of that experience.